Force is strong in my family. Force is strong in my family. My father has it. My father has it. I have it. I have it. My sister has it. My sister has it. You have that power too. You have that power too. In time, you'll learn to use it as I have.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Chewie, we're home.
My Nerd World.
So yesterday, I go to Fry's. I've got my, well, he's 9. He'll be 9. Oh, man, he'll be 9 this week. Holy cow. I've got my 9-year-old with me, right? And we have a big Fry's and we have a little Fry's grocery store. And we went to the big Fry's. And I like going to the big Fry's because the big Fry's has a lot of toys. It's kind of like if, depending on what part of the country you're in, Myers, it's kind of like this. The Big Fry's is almost Walmart-esque in its size. It's kind of like a really nice Walmart. It's got everything. It's got clothes and hardware and, of course, all the food you want. But they have a really good toy section there. And if you search for Star Wars toys, like I do, you will know, you know that there are certain places, for whatever reason, that end up getting a certain amount of hard-to-find toys. And I think it's more a matter of other stores are getting these same toys too, but nobody is hitting up these particular locations. Nobody is thinking, oh, if I go to Fry's and I'm looking for hard-to-find Star Wars action figures, I'm going to be able to find them at this Fry's. Maybe I'm giving away my secret. I didn't go to Fry's. I went to Vaughn's. I went to a Safeway. No, we were at Fry's. So we go to Fry's yesterday. And sure enough, in the toy section, there was a bunch of the latest wave of Star Wars toys. I know there's a new wave coming out. We actually had a couple of toy leaks this week that haven't hit the shelves yet. I think somebody said they were coming out on the 11th. I think that's the speculation. Anyways, the current newest wave that's got General Hux in it and the droid PZ that has the Guavian intruder. They had, and I've got most of these ones already. But it was still cool. It's just, even if you're a Star Wars fan and you already have those particular toys, or you're not going to buy them, it still is a moment where you go, oh, cool, they have them here. They also had, and I actually held back, I love Kylo Ren's command shuttle, especially now that we have confirmed that the wings fan out in flight. If you've seen any of the footage that was taken from the Season of the Force, actually, I think the footage was Pathway of a Jedi or Path of a Jedi. Anyways, at Disneyland, there's the full shot of Kylo Ren's command shuttle surrounded by the First Order shuttles flying off of what we believe is Jakku to the First Order Star Destroyer. And you can see the wings are fanned out. And you've seen it in a couple of the trailers too. When it lands, the wings fold up. I absolutely love that ship. And if Hasbro doesn't make a full 3 3/4 scale one, I'm going to be really upset. But anyway, Hot Wheels has been putting out their die-cast ships, and I know I've seen online pictures of the Kylo Ren Hot Wheels one, and at this Fry's, they had a villain set. A Hot Wheel villain set of the die-cast vehicles, and it had in there, it had Slave One, it had an original trilogy TIE Fighter, it had a droid starfighter, and then it had Kylo Ren's command shuttle. I didn't get it though. I really wanted to, but I had the other ones. I already had the other die-casts, and so I held back. Because we're getting close to Christmas, and I've got a lot of toys that I bought for myself that I'm going to be opening. So I'm hoping Not that it matters. You know what's really funny about that is like what? The individual figure runs $4.99. The package of the villain set was, I think, $14.99. Okay? So, you know, I saved $10. Like in the grand scheme of things, of all the toys that I've purchased, I ended up saving $10 by not purchasing that set. But I felt good about it. I felt like I was being a responsible father in front of my 9-year-old. No, son, it's too close to Christmas, and we are not going to buy any toys. That's probably the real reason why I did it, now that I think about it. It probably had nothing to do with self-control. It probably had everything to do with the fact that Kyle was there with me. And if Kyle hadn't been there with me, I probably would be looking at it right now with all the other diecast vehicles that I'm looking at on my desk here as I record episode number 30 of the My Nerd World Star Wars podcast. We are 11 days away. 11 days away from The Force Awakens. I am not, this is 100% the good Lord on high truth. Okay? It almost brings me to tears to think that we are 11 days away from seeing this movie. We've all waited for so long. I played on last week's podcast in episode number 29, the clip from Halloween back in 2012 when I announced on my radio show that Lucasfilm had purchased, that Disney had purchased Lucasfilm, and that we were going to be getting new Star Wars movies. And it's unbelievable to me that we're that close. There was a moment last week where it was almost bittersweet. There was a part of me that got like a little sad that we were so close. There was a part of me that went, "Oh man, we're getting really close to this, and then all this run-up's going to go away." But that quickly subsided when I remembered, or just sort of moved past that thinking, and said to myself, "But we're going to see the movie soon, and we'll have so much to digest in the film itself." Now, there's more to my Fries story, which is why I lead it off. I actually led off with the first half of my Fries story. There's a second half to my Fries story that I'll share with you here in just a moment. I also have a series of different articles, and today's show / podcast, I'm really treating much more like my radio show. And without getting into the details or wasting time on that, I basically took today's episode 30 of the My Nerd World Star Wars podcast, and I decided, you know what, I'm just going to treat it like my radio show, minus the commercials and all the nonsense. So I've taken some notes. I have a series of stories here that I want to run through that I think you'll really get a kick out of. One of them done by 1138, the website, breaking down just exactly how much of the film that we have seen so far. Really, really fascinating stuff. But I got a lot to get to. Plus, I've been doing my own journey to The Force Awakens, as I've been talking about, and watched A New Hope last night. I have some comments that I want to share on A New Hope from last night. And we'll run through a little bit of what's been going on in the news. Not a lot of the... there's been a lot of interviews being done by the cast members, and we'll touch on that a little bit. I don't have the extra audio today because I really wanted to focus on the material that I have to share with you. So a couple of show notes. There is a new email now for My Nerd World, for the podcast, that you can email me at. Much easier than my original address. It is talkshownerd@gmail.com. Just that simple. talkshownerd@gmail.com. And if you have any questions, if you have any comments about the show or the podcast, you can email me there at talkshownerd@gmail.com. talkshownerd@gmail.com. I've also got Twitter open, and if at any point during the show today you wish to make a comment or ask a question, feel free to drop me a tweet during the show at Jon Justice, Jon at Jon Justice. And if you're on the Spreaker website and you're signed in, the chat room is open as well. So for those that on this Sunday afternoon that happen to be tuned in and saw that I was live and you're listening now, feel free to drop me a chat or a tweet, and I'll get to those at some point later on in the show. One more programming note, and then we'll get right into it. I may be breaking up the show into two different live segments today. One will start right after the other. It more has to do with the account that I have currently with Spreaker, which allows me the opportunity to be live. It breaks up the segments in 45-minute increments just because I haven't gone full bore to purchase the next, you got to go to the next payment plan. So my podcasts usually only run 45 minutes, and so I've just been sticking with that 45-minute time frame, and that usually fits. But if it doesn't fit in with what I want to do today, then I'll go ahead and stop and restart the show so I can finish up. If you are listening to this after the fact as a podcast, pay it no mind, because I'll just go ahead and splice it all together, in which case you won't even know that we stopped and started. So, getting back to my story at Fry's, and this is the point that I wanted to get to. So we're working through, and I end up over the deli section over at Fry's. And again, I got Kyle, my 9-year-old, with me, and I'm wearing one of my Star Wars: The Force Awakens T-shirts, and it's just one. It's got a big, it's like a splatter paint of Kylo Ren, a couple of First Order stormtroopers, the tri-saber, and some TIE fighters, and it just says big bold letters Star Wars in white. It doesn't even say The Force Awakens on it, but it's just shows Kylo Ren there, and sort of an abstract view. So I'm standing in the deli section, and the guy's working there. I'm 43. The guy's there, dude, just out of their 20s. I mean, maybe 21, right? I mean, just really young. There was 3 guys and 1 woman, and then there was a guy about my age who was standing there in the deli section too. And the guy looked at my shirt, and I don't know where he saw my shirt, and he was like, "Hey man, cool, Kylo Ren," this kind of guy. Had a really stoner-esque vibe to him. And we ended up getting in this conversation. The one guy behind the counter made a remark, and I didn't quite hear it, and the other guy started laughing, and I just kind of go, "What?" And he goes, "Oh, he says you got Luke Skywalker on your shirt." So this guy was an individual that believes that Kylo Ren is Luke Skywalker. He's not. People need to knock it off. So I had to appropriately go and school this guy to let him know. I'm like, "No, dude, Kylo Ren is Kylo Ren. Luke Skywalker is Luke Skywalker." "Well, how can you be sure?" And I go, "Because I know way too much about this movie." And Adam Driver was on Jimmy Fallon this week, and Jimmy Fallon went through this whole thing of showing pictures of Kylo Ren and asking Adam Driver, "That's you, right? And that's you, and that's you." Dude, the Lego minifigure, you can take the faceplate off of it to show the face. And as a matter of fact, an article came out this week that even said you will see an unscarred Adam Driver with the helmet off as Kylo Ren. So it doesn't get much more specific than that. But more to my point, the gentleman standing next to me too just made a comment. He's like, "Man, this movie's going to make so much money." And I'm like, "Yeah, I think it's already almost pushing $60 million in pre-sale alone." And then the girl got in on the conversation about how much she can't wait. She can't wait to see it. And I mean, and she was a little bit older, so you had multiple generations, right? At a Walmart, at a Meijer, a Fry's, at a Fry's on a Saturday afternoon, and I'm just wearing a Star Wars T-shirt. And every single one of them, of those individuals, wanted to engage in a conversation about Star Wars. Again, that's why I'm such a fan. It's such an amazing thing to be a part of. I'm feeling that whole vibe that we got in the original trilogy. And back then it was the secret sort of code word of "May the Force be with you," and you knew you were one of them. You knew you were one of the individuals who was a Star Wars fan, and that's how you shared your love of of Star Wars with somebody else. And now it just seems like you just go out with a Star Wars shirt on and people immediately want to talk to you about it. It's such a cultural phenomenon. And I heard another podcast talking about this, and my apologies as to which one it was. I can't remember because I listened to so many. But they were talking about the box office numbers. It was